Hello, this is Dr. Young, and I'm going to go over your Week 3 assignments. This week we're going to talk about tools for implementing a performance management system. We're also going to talk about 360-degree feedback. We're going to talk about how performance management affects the strategic planning process as well. So what we're going to do is after you've, I'm not going to cover the knowledge check, but I'm going to cover the discussion. I haven't been doing that. That's just the, it's the little quiz. It looks like everybody's doing these quizzes, but I realize I haven't really talked about it very much in the class, but they're just little small quizzes just to make sure that you're staying on top of the lecture material. Okay, so for your discussion, you're picking one of these questions, and you can either talk about the performance management appeals process and its connection to employee performance, or you can talk about 360-degree feedback, which a lot of companies use, and it's basically getting evaluations from various people in organizations instead of your just your manager, your colleagues, sometimes even people that aren't directly on your team but might have some kind of feedback to give. It just depends on the scope of it. The scope of it depends on the organization, but I can tell you that I worked for a company that used, obviously, your supervisor, people on my team, colleagues, customers can be used in this process as well for your evaluation. But anyway, you can choose whatever one you want to talk about, but the same rules apply as they have before as far as your discussions and your requirements. For your project, this is a big project. This is worth a lot of points. And it basically continues continues from 1 and 2. So what you have to do now is develop a plan to link performance to the strategic goals. So what you need to do is make sure that you honestly, I would start with, well, you're going to evaluate the purpose of a performance management system. Analyze the benefits of implementing a well-defined performance management system. So these are kind of the general, why, what's the benefit, but then you need to get down to the specifics. And you can't really do any of this until you have a vision or mission statement for your organization. What is your organization? What are the goals of the organization? So you're starting with a very broad scope here. And then you have to figure out how can performance management support that mission, that vision, that goal. And what kind of approach to measure performance would you need to be able to come out with a result that supports that vision or mission and the goals for the organization. I'm just trying to get it clear here so you can understand how to approach this assignment. Once you've decided on an approach, then it should be easy. As long as you can answer that question, it's probably going to be pretty easy to develop a system that will match that strategic goal, overall goal. So first things first, well, go ahead and talk about excuse me, talk about why it's needed, what are the benefits of it, what are the, what can it do in general, but then you've got to actually create for this company, create a vision and a mission and a goal, and goals for the overall organization. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, you could, it could be small business. It's not really the size of it that matters. It's just, can you tie this, the performance management system, to the overall goals for the company? And you really have to think about, what's the purpose of this organization or company or business, first, and then you go from there. So I hope that helps clarify. This is something that you really need to think through. It needs to be very detailed. Go back through Unit 1 and 2 and make sure that you understand, all the basics about performance management systems that we've talked about, because you'll need to cover that and describe those as well. I mean, that's the first part of this. So you're kind of giving me a review of that first, and then you're going on into the application of it in your paper. Okay, so it's 4 to 5 pages, and that does not include a title or reference page. Same thing, APA format. That's really all there is. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. This is worth a lot of points. So this is something that I'm going to kind of, I'm going to look at it and see if you spent more time on it than previous weeks. Because if you look at the point difference, it's huge. So this is one of those, this is like a pivotal assignment in this course. And you need to give the time to it that it deserves to make sure that it's thorough and detailed enough, and demonstrates that you've actually retained some of the things in Units 1 and 2, and that you understand the course material and the text, and that you're getting an in-depth knowledge of performance management and all the different approaches that you can use in creating a system. Excuse me. And also just make sure you've read carefully, week 3 materials, because that's going to be incorporated into that paper as well. All right, was that all that we had? We have to see. Yeah, okay. So that's really it. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thanks, and have a great week.